All right, let's get right into it. Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. We are breaking down the monumental and honestly, often completely misunderstood task of cloud migration. Now, think about the very last time you moved houses. You had to pack up absolutely every single possession, figure out the logistics of getting it all from point A to point B without breaking your most precious stuff, and then somehow you have to unpack and make all your old stuff work in a completely new floor plan. It is absolutely exhausting, right? Well, that is exactly what companies go through when they migrate to the cloud, just on a massive, highly technical, and incredibly high-stakes scale.
A lot of people actually have a huge misconception about how this process works. People tend to think moving to the cloud is just like flipping a fan switch, like you push a button to turn it on, push it to turn it off, and boom, you're instantly connected to the future. But the reality? It is absolutely not that simple. You're not flipping a switch, you are relocating a massive digital empire. We're talking intricate applications, deeply integrated services, and huge, sprawling troves of data. It's a massive challenge that takes serious, deliberate planning.
So to make sense of this massive digital move, here is the roadmap for today's explainer. We'll go through 5 chronological phases. First, understanding cloud migration. Second, security and compliance risks. Third, operational transfer hurdles. Fourth, compatibility and hidden costs. And finally, the post-migration reality check.
Okay, phase 1, understanding cloud migration and why companies even pack their bags in the first place. Before we get into all the heavy challenges, let's just briefly frame the core task so we're all on the exact same page. Essentially, cloud migration is taking a company's entire digital footprint, their applications, their services, their data, getting it out of their physical server room and dropping it into a highly advanced, remote digital infrastructure.
So, if the moving process is such a headache, why do companies put themselves through it? If their current system is working fine, why change the whole shebang? Well, the biggest driver is cost efficiency. They get a pay-as-you-go, consumption-based model, which totally saves them from constantly having to buy expensive hardware upgrades or new software licenses. Plus, you get instant resource scalability. If you hit a massive peak hour and suddenly need a ton of computational power, the cloud provisions it in literally a second. It just gives businesses this total operational flexibility that physical in-house hardware simply cannot match.
Moving on to phase 2, security and compliance risks, navigating the danger zone.
Think about it. When your data is actually leaving the safety of your in-house servers, it is incredibly vulnerable. You have to secure the convoy. You're moving highly sensitive information, making it a prime target for hackers or really anyone trying to gain unauthorized access while it's in transit. To do this safely, you need a massive amount of bandwidth to move huge amounts of data fast, combined with strict bulletproof encryption and secure VPNs. Without those strict measures, your company's most sensitive assets are literally wide open during the move.
And get this, the risks aren't even just from hackers. They are geopolitical. Our source material shares this incredibly relatable anecdote about a 20 to 30% YouTube tax on Indian creators. A few years ago, that didn't exist at all. But the US implemented it, and creators in India simply had to follow the new rules. No choice. The exact same principle applies to the cloud. If you move your company's data to servers sitting in the US or Europe, you are now bound by their regulatory bodies and compliance laws, like HIPAA or GDPR. You absolutely have to play by your cloud host's regional laws.
Phase 3, operational transfer hurdles, the actual logistics of moving.
You can't just transfer an entire company's data on a random Tuesday afternoon without anyone noticing. This is a highly orchestrated event. After days, or honestly weeks of planning, the actual data transfer often has to happen in the dead of night, usually tightly scheduled between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. Executing these transfers at odd hours is absolutely critical to avoid massive customer downtime, because if you move everything during peak hours, clients can't access the system and you get terrible business disruptions. You have to move it gradually, test it, pivot if needed, and slowly avoid any data corruption before you can finally call the full migration complete.
Phase 4, compatibility and hidden costs. Or, as I like to think of it, when your old furniture just doesn't fit in the new house. Picture huge financial institutions, healthcare providers, or airline ticketing networks. A lot of them are running on incredibly old legacy tech. We're talking applications built back in the 70s using ancient languages like COBOL, or systems somehow still running on Windows 98 or 2000. You cannot just lift and shift these into a modern cloud environment. There are massive compatibility walls. To make it work, companies literally have to rewrite their code, develop brand new optimized patches, and essentially rebuild their applications for a modern cloud-native architecture.
And then, oh man, there is the massive issue of hidden costs.
You might sign a contract and purchase, let's say, exactly 10 terabytes of cloud storage. But when you actually start transferring your data and taking full system backups, you instantly realize you need way more space than that. Or suddenly you need far more computational power or network bandwidth than you initially planned. That's when those little asterisks and star-marked terms and conditions trigger huge, completely unexpected hidden fees. It can blow your migration budget totally out of the water.
Finally, Phase 5, the post-migration reality check, actually living in the cloud. So, the move is done. You unpack and relax, right? Wrong. Immediately you face a massive skill gap. Your existing employees might be absolute wizards with the old on-premises tech, but they don't know the cloud. So companies are suddenly forced to hire very expensive, specialized cloud experts just to get the train safely on the tracks. And post-migration, you almost always realize your resources aren't fully optimized, meaning you have to constantly monitor and adjust computation and storage, which requires ongoing, highly skilled maintenance.
And we absolutely have to talk about the nightmare known as the vendor lock-in trap. Imagine you do everything right. You successfully migrate everything to Amazon Web Services, AWS. It took huge effort, totally custom patches, and expensive new hires. But maybe a year down the line, you realize your current provider is just too expensive and you want to switch to Microsoft Azure. Well, you don't just magically port over. You literally have to start this entire grueling, expensive migration process, complete with new patches and compatibility checks, all over again with the new company.
So I'm going to leave you with a final, pretty provocative thought straight from our source material. The speaker there refuses to spoon-feed you the solutions, and honestly, neither will I. We all know there is a massive AI and machine learning boom exploding right now across 2024 and 2025, and guess what? It relies entirely on this exact cloud infrastructure. So knowing all these intense logistical, security, and compatibility hurdles we just talked about, how will you engineer solutions to these migration challenges? It is a massive, highly lucrative problem just waiting to be solved. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and keep innovating.